Welcome back, everyone. This is the DomainSherpa Review After Show, where we discuss anything on the minds of our panel or me, the portfolios, news in the industry, what they just registered. Let's talk about new GTLDs. But first, Rick needs to pick a theme for next week, for the next show. Rick, do you have, I could throw out a few: medical, science and math, politics, currencies, anything you want. What do you feel like discussing in a couple of weeks?
How about Bitcoin domain names?
Bitcoin domain names.
Ooh, I like it.
Can we expand it to be anything currency related?
Certainly.
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Cryptocurrency. Or just, maybe you have pennies.com or, because it's they're not going to make them anymore in the U.S. at some point. And
we've canceled all. We haven't had ours for 2 years.
People, now. I'm sure they'll go up in value because we're not. Anyways, all right. Anything currency related, Bitcoins, coins, currency, yen conversion.com, anything like that.
Good answer.
Mike, I did wrap up my first sale for Bitcoin on a domain name this week.
You did? What'd you sell?
I did. It's the thing I pop up to the guy's last name, and he gave I don't know what the hell it was, 2 or 3 different types of coins and 1 Bitcoin.
Oh.
So it was his last name. I got to look up the chat with you to see what it was, but I forget.
Cool.
But it closed.
All right, so let's chat about new TLDs to start with. We had 6 or 7 of them go to general availability today, which means that anybody can register the domain names. It was .photography, .equipment. What else was there?
.estate.
.estate.
.lighting.
What?
Lighting.
Oh,
lighting. So is
gallery? Was that gallery?
Is it just me, or do you guys think that it's really strange to have .equipment? Am I just stuck in a paradigm that I'm typing so many characters to the right of the dot, and eventually I'll get over that paradigm?
No. You got to have a really short one.
Speak for yourself, Paige.
I knew that was going to get me.
But I still listen. So we get to .photography. I still don't understand what happens to .photography when .photo comes out, and .pic, and .photos, and .image. I just don't understand it at that point, and no one's given me a legitimate explanation of why someone would put all those letters when you can put .pic or .photo or .photos, which is confusing enough.
Mike Berkens, can you explain it to Rick?
I can explain it to Rick. Bottom line is that today .photos, according to Kevin Murphy at Domain Insight, did almost 9,000 registrations. So now, whether they were good registrations or bad registrations, and what will happen when photo, pics, cam, and a million other extensions comes out, that's, I guess it's a theoretical question, which we can sort of debate. But the bottom line is that the registry operator, just paid for their application fee and then some today, since a photography name is at $25, and they did, let's say they more than covered their $185,000 registration fee today.
But you just explained it from a registry perspective, not an end user.
I'll explain it. I think each one's going to have their own market.
Let me ask the question.
All right,
please.
let's go, Mike, and then we'll go to you, Paige.
So the issue is that any of us who had the means, because there are a lot of people that are watching and listening to DomainSherpa that don't have $185,000, and that's appreciated and understood fully. But there are some people that do have $185,000. And any of those people could have been the registry, and they could have been collecting this money. And
but it's not really $185,000; it's $500,000.
So we have to that's on day one. We have to recognize that a lot of people who had, the wherewithal to apply, really missed a lifetime opportunity, a once in a lifetime opportunity to make, substantial dollars in a whole different way.
Paige.
So I think photography, photos, and pics will all have the time that they end up doing better. I think if you're a photography studio or a professional, you're rather going to have photography. If you're a pic site that has, hot pics of tractors, then you're going to want to maybe have pics. And photos is kind of somewhere in between. But if you're a professional portrait photographer, maybe photos is too casual for you. So they each have their own spice, Rick. I'm not saying they're all great or one's better than the other one, but there is a reason that you'd want to have one more than the other. We got i.photography. We like it for more of a professional marketplace than maybe i.pics, which would be maybe something different or might not be available. So I just think each one will have their own marketplace, and that's it. Now, the other ones, I don't know. Car and cars, I can't tell you there's going to be a difference between those. But at least on the photo ones, there's a little difference.
Hey, Paige, you got i.photography. Is that the letter I, or is it EYE.photography?
The letter I.
The letter I. So you got a single character domain name.
Which I didn't even know were available, frankly. And I just didn't know they were available till Saturday. And there was a post on a board that said, hey, wow, you can get single letters. And so I just thought it looked really cool with the single letter. And even though the to the right of the dot was really long, the left of the dot and the dot, it just I liked the way it looked. I liked the way it presented itself. So
can I ask you how much you paid for that, Paige? Are you willing to say that?
Yeah, I paid $800. Paid $550 to be day 4, and then the renewal fee on it is $230. So.
And are you going to hold it like you hold all your other domains for as long as it takes to sell it, or are you going to try and, because it has a higher holding cost, are you going to try and?
As of right now, I still own it. As of the time this show airs, you never know.
All right. Did anybody else buy any new TLDs in the past day or two with the general availability?
I'm sitting on around 20, I think.
20? But, did you buy any today that just came out, Mike?
I got a couple that came out today on back orders, but not too.
Yeah, in which top-level domain did you get them?
I got a couple, I think, photography and equipment and camera. Those 3, I think.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Adam, did you get any? You're muted.
Oh, I know. I was looking up some of those domains while you were chatting. No, I did not bother with any.
Yeah, are you just not interested in I was going to register some, like, in the city that I live, .estate, and then I, decided, I'm not even sure what's going on with any of these domains. Much like Rick feels. How are they going to be affected by other ones when .property comes out or whatever, and it just got too much for me to
cool,
ponder.
and if they're cool and brandable and they make sense to me as a possible business or a brand that somebody would want to buy, then I would consider buying them. I'm not ruling them out, but I'm also not just going to register them just to register them.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Mike, let's talk about malls.com. It came out in the latest DN Journal report that you sold malls.com for $350,000. That is quite a sale. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that your largest public sale in 2014?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Is that your largest public sale in the last year?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's in the last year or public, but it's not my largest sale. But.
Yeah.
Is that going to make it a much better Valentine's Day for you and Judy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, when you sell a domain like that, do you say, okay, now I've recouped, investments, or as a whole portfolio, I'm going to take a majority of it and put it, or I'm going to reinvest, or whatever the case, but I'm going to buy myself a new car or a new watch or go on a vacation, or do you do anything like that?
No.
No.
No,
It's just
the most say is, honey, you can have shrimp tonight.
So it's just business as usual for you.
Yeah, it pretty much is, yes.
All right.
Yeah, no,
Does anybody else splurge when you have a sale like that? Rick does? What do you do, Rick?
I always buy something. Usually watches, actually. That's kind of what I invest in that isn't domain name related. And so whenever I make a substantial sale, I'll take a portion and I'll buy an investment type of a watch, and that's what I've been doing.
Nice. Nobody else? Paige, you don't do it?
No, I try to do something that kind of signals ringing the bell, and something either for my wife or family, or something that says, hey, thanks for letting me go away to do all this stuff. So.
Nice.
Yeah. We do something too. What I like to do is spread $20 bills all over our bed and say, "Honey, now we're having sex tonight, aren't we?"
All right. Hey, while we're talking about your sale, Mike, who did it sell
And when
to?
you say honey, do you mean Alexander Hamilton or?
First
He's
of
talking
all,
to himself.
I'm sorry things are bad and you can't use $100 bills.
It depends on the sale. If he had a $350,000 sale, how long did you own that? Give us some of the history on malls.com, Mike. I know it used to be a developed website at one point. How did you pick it up? And, are you willing to talk about how long you owned it for?
Yeah, I've owned it for quite a while, actually. I think I bought it off of a guy that was local here in South Florida. The thing was listed on eBay. I saw it, wrote him, talked to him, met him, and made a deal on the name. We had sort of developed it. I had a plan for it. It got about halfway developed and then stopped getting developed, and it sort of sat there for quite a number of years. So I think it could have definitely sold for more. I think it could have, and it can be developed into a really cool site that has an location-based application that can push you like offers and specials while you're in malls, and certainly can give you information of where stores are located and maps to malls and things like that. So I think there is definitely something that can be done with the name that can make it profitable. The only sort of negative or downside to it is that brick and mortar malls seem to be dying. As of the last Christmas, there's a lot of stories about the fact that people are online shopping, and that the brick and mortar malls are having problems keeping tenants and getting visitors. And so I think it could go either way. I think it was it's a fair price. I don't think it was a phenomenally great price for the name, and I think there's things that could be done with it to make it a lot more valuable.
Can I ask you what you purchased it for, Mike?
I think 75.
And how long did you have to hold it for, if you remember?
More than 5 years.
More than 5 years. And did you get many offers in those 5 years that you were holding it?
I haven't, but I think it has to do with the fact that it looked like it was developed. It wasn't parked, and I think that definitely. I still think that's I've always chatted about. If you really want to sell domains, they need to be, obviously for sale, and that one was not.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people will go to a site if it looks site-ish, and there's a lot of unsophisticated people, and a lot of people aren't even going to ask if it looks like a site. They're just going to say, oh, somebody's using it, and that's the end of it. So I think still, your park page or some sort of page that indicates the name's for sale is going to help sell your names quicker than anything else.
Yeah. Was there a lot of negotiations that went on, or was the first offer came in pretty close to what you closed at?
I wouldn't say that. There was a little bit back and forth, but not a tremendous amount.
Yeah.
No, I think it was a fair price. I think it's it's not like I don't feel like I made out on the thing like incredibly well, and I don't think the guys thought they got a steal. So I think it's one of those fairly priced names.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, the problem with something like that is people hear the 350 and think, oh, it's all profit, and they don't realize all the time and everything went in to get that sale going, plus the original investment.
Right. Absolutely.
It's a great sale, and he did a great job, but people have to understand there's a lot more work that goes into it than what they think.
Right. And again, you're not going to buy it, and we always say you're not going to buy it and flip it quickly. So you're going to be staying on it. You could have taken the $75,000, whatever, 6 years ago, and bought, Google and done as well or better, or other stuff. So there's the time use of money that always needs to get taken into account as well.
Do you guys get nervous about buying a domain name for $75,000, let's say, and then knowing that you're going to have to sit on it for 5 years and not getting very many inquiries, even though you thought it was a strong domain name?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, listen, the dollar is losing value. The domain name is one of the greatest hedges of the dollar losing value of any commodity in the world. Really, and it's increasing. It's really better than gold. It's more portable than anything else. So,
yeah,
I think it's truly domain name investing then. You're
let's put it this way.
I have asset than money, and then I would rather own this asset than money until someone gives me so much money that I would rather own that money than this asset.
Mhm.
And that's,
I mean, I have lots of domains that I paid over $50,000 for, and I've sold some. The other ones I'm happy just to wait on, and there's no rush. And tons over $25,000 that some people would have a heart attack over holding them for 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
I feel much more comfortable going to sleep at night knowing I own domains that are worth 6 and 7 figures than if I had 6 and 7 figures in a bank that could either lose value, be stolen easier than the domain name, or the bank go bye-bye, or whatever other catastrophes that could happen with cash.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Mike, you mentioned you got a phone call from a domain investor that's watched the show that has said they were very appreciative of all of the advice that all 4 of you Sherpas provide every week. And then the investor mentioned that they had purchased some new top-level domains. What did that investor say?
Yeah, I mean, he did. He mentioned the fact that he watches it every week, that he learned a lot from everybody, and he was very appreciative, and he let me know that he spent $450 and bought some .guru domains. So I asked him what the .guru names are, and he listed them for me, or several of them for me, and each and every one was a trademark infringing name.
Like a big company name, you mean? Like
a
notable name that you know right off the bat.
Right, yeah, I mean, unquestionable. And so it got me thinking, like, really, like, in what world can you watch a show every week and then take away from it that you should go out and register in basically a vacant space, which, these new GTLDs, as they sit, prior to rollout, they're vacant. Everything except for stuff that's reserved is available. And have you come up and pick out every name being a trademark name? Yeah. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, but I don't know what, and I start the show almost every week saying, do not buy trademarks, don't, and I think one of the tenets that all of us fight against week after week is cyber squatting. People label what you do as cyber squatting to some degree, and they're technically incorrect in that you're investing and you're not buying people's brands and trying to sell it back to them with bad faith. Did you ask this person, like, why they thought that was a good idea? Or did they elaborate?
Yeah, I think it's okay. He said there were some names that were involving some sports teams, but it was the absolute, city and matching name of the team. So, it wasn't, let's say, it wasn't this name, but let's say he registered Miami Dolphins.guru. So his explanation would be he was a fan of the Miami Dolphins, and he wanted to put up a blog about it. And I said, well, you best to get blogging like today if you're going to do that. And even then, probably going to lose the name. So that was, I think that people are not completely understanding even maybe what a trademark is, or what the laws are, or they think if maybe they put it, I'm not sure. He seemed confused.
Well,
but he is a fan.
Well, that's good. And, that's better than buying like PNG.guru and expecting to, display coupons for PNG. Like, clearly that's bad faith. If you're trying to benefit and get your site ranked for a keyword, based on their brand. But if you are creating a news site or an opinion site or something like that, there has been precedent set legally to say that you are allowed to do that. It is a gray zone. You are fighting an uphill battle. And if you have bad faith and you're summoned into court for a cyber squatting lawsuit, you will be put under oath what your intention was when you bought the domain name.
Right, and it depends, of course, how much time has passed. But, really, if you're going to buy a name like that, you're going to put up a blog, you want to chat about a team, then you better do it pretty quickly, I think. Because we've already seen a couple of URPs and URSs filed.
Yeah.
Trademark holders, so they're not sitting back and waiting.
Yeah.
So I don't think the time frame necessarily is very long on this. So it's not something I think you may, but I wouldn't count on, seeing on a name for 3 years, having it parked, and then say, I intended on putting up a blog one day. I don't think that's going to carry the day.
Yeah, good point. All right. Hey, Adam, you created a kerfuffle. Is that the right word? Is that a Yiddish word, kerfuffle? Anyways, you created quite the commotion on last week's show about 4dprinter.net.
You mean when I came out of the closet?
How you came out of the closet. So if I understand correctly, you said, hey, I got this offer on 4dprinter.net on last week's show. I think I'm going to take it. And we were all like, what? A .net? That's crazy that somebody offered you.
We all asked them what they thought it was worth. And
Yep.
They all said at 8K, 8 to 10K, they said I'd take it.
Right. And so it turned out that you actually let the domain drop. Somebody who watches the show actually picked it up, contacted you and said, hey, Adam, you got the offer. I've got the domain. Let's do a deal together and split it. Is that the way it went down?
That's exactly the way it went down. And I was, he posted his name out there. His name's Lucas. I was very surprised, first of all, that I dropped it and it was still in my Buy Domains account. And then I found out when he told me, because I hadn't decided to accept the offer in Afterneck yet, and then he said to me, well, look, I would have never thought of asking more than $500 or $1,000 for that name. Since you have a buyer who's willing to pay $8,000, go ahead, continue the transaction, and let's split on it. And I thought that was more than gracious of him. He certainly didn't have to do that, and I appreciate it. And because of it, I'm going to work closer together with him on other things. But he certainly didn't have to do that. I would have turned over the name had he asked me to.
Yeah.
But I think that uncovers one of the other problems that domainers have, is that they don't know how to ask for higher prices, or they're afraid to ask for other prices because they're going to get turned down. I have a buddy who sells domain names. His domains are average and good. He doesn't sell anything for less than $100,000, and he doesn't care if people just walk away. Any price he gives is $100,000.
So did you have 4dprinter.net listed for a buy it now price or make offer at Buy Domains?
I had it for make offer.
For make offer.
Yeah, not buy them, not.
And somebody made you an offer for $8,000 for a .net?
No. The original offer I think was $2,000, and we went back and forth. And I originally asked for 20, and we ended up. He went up. He said the highest he's going to go is 8, but it took about a week's worth of negotiations back and forth. So
gotcha.
No, it wasn't just here's an offer for 8 and yay.
Gotcha.
But you have to know. I always say, and you know this. All these guys know this. To be a good domainer, you have to know how to sell and how to negotiate. That's the hardest part. Any idiot can register a whole bunch of domain names, but if you don't know how to sell them, and you don't know what to ask for them, and you don't know how to negotiate, you're always going to leave money on the table. And that leads to my next point. I'll let you ask me questions about this if you have any, and then I'll get to my next point about how people are wrongly analyzing the drops.
Let's go on. Let's talk about the drop list.
So I gave a few drop lists to people that watch this show that are so-called good domainers and understand the industry, and I'm going to pick out what they thought was worth going after. The first list was just junk. The second list was, again, just junk. And the third list was, again, pretty much in unison, just junk. They may have had one name each or two names each, but they missed a lot of stuff. So, that's another reason that people, I'm not sure anymore that you can teach people how to find what's going to make money and what isn't, because no matter how many times I try to teach people, they still don't see something that, to me, is obvious in front of my face. So,
but if I saw 4dprinter.net on a drop list, I'm not sure I'd pick it up if it was .com.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some more generic words that were on there that people should be thinking of picking up. I'm looking for today's list, so yeah. I'll find it in a second. But no, I'm thinking just there's more out there than what people are actually finding. I'm opening up the list. Today's list had so it had Cater on it, editorial. These are all CAs, but it's still the same thing. Cater, bilingual. We're a bilingual country. People speak French. Chocolate bars, charm bracelets, cable installer, blog manager, which is now a new job. Dental bridges, dental bridge, dental crown, dental crowns, dental veneers. These are all things that are definitely worth the $40 or $50. Yeah. Water purification, and these are things that some guys, they all missed all these. Pediatrics. Medicals, adopting, even lithium. There's a lot that people miss that have some value, and some of these can be good bracelets. Chocolate bars, there's no question about it. That's going to be an easy sale to somebody like Hershey. And Caters is such a huge industry that it's a good domain name.
Yeah.
So I'm just disappointed in the fact that I don't think people really understand how to filter through a domain list and find the good ones.
But in those cases, those are all dictionary words, like those. And you're saying that they're not filtering through them because they're not looking for the dictionary words. They're just filtering it by search volume or something like that?
Well, either they're overwhelmed by the amount of names originally in the list.
Yeah.
And they're just tired and missing. Like, I missed one today, but I missed one. That was about it. And it wasn't that important to me. But, I mean, the business ones that can be businesses out of the box, like those ones for crowns and dentures and veneers, that's huge money and huge PPC revenue and traffic. So,
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. They're just missing. They don't see the obvious when they look through a list.
Yeah.
I don't think they still have to think about what they can buy that they can resell, what maybe used to be a business that may eventually be another business, and what's a business they could potentially start up or sell to.
Yep.
So people have to look at these lists from a few different angles, and that may mean they have to go through it 3 times.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm still going to go back to something that I've said on the show, and I've said a lot, is I still think there are, like anything else in life, there are people who have a natural attribute to a particular type of, I don't know if you call it business or a particular type of thing, and those people are going to succeed or have more success or see things differently than other people see them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's really that much different than, I use the comparison with Derek Jeter in baseball, that everybody wants to be him, and everybody, even professional baseball players, but not everybody can beat Derek Jeter, and it's just
but they think they can be. And what worries me is those may be the people that are coming in, blowing all the money they have, and then getting very discouraged when nothing works out, but they didn't buy the right domain names. And it all starts with purchasing the right thing.
I think you're going to see a major exodus of domainers in the next year.
We see that every year, though.
Well,
That's
I think
every year.
More than ever, because what you're going to see are all the new guys looking for the next wave who still don't know how to pick out a domain name. So with the new GTLDs, if you start going 3 words, I mean, I'm already getting spams for 3 and 4 words left of the dot. Are you kidding me? It just came out the other day. How can you be going for 3 and 4 words? I mean, it's ridiculous. So I think there's going to be a major, just like Mike says, just because you're great playing basketball doesn't mean you're a good baseball player, and just because you're a great outfielder doesn't make you a great pitcher. And I think some people are going to just have to come to the conclusion, if they can go another year in domaining with everything that's going on and they can't become successful in the next 12 months, I'm going to tell them this may not be your calling.
Yeah, I know 2 people, one of which turned down $30,000 for .guru domain, and one turned down, well, actually they may have turned down or accepted $10,000 for a .guru name. But I mean, that just shows you, in the last week, there are names that you could have registered for, maybe 500, 800, 1,000, depending on where you picked it up, and flipped it for quite a bit of money already. So it's out there, still there. It's just growing and more opportunities.
Well, and so for everybody that says you're never going to, be able to make a Derek Jeter, that is natural ability that is honed over time. I will say that everybody on this panel can get better at baseball every single day by practicing more. And so that's my job at DomainSherpa, is to bring on experts like you to help pass along that information. So I thank you for doing that. And anybody that wants to do it, I just ask them to do it smartly,
I just want to make sure that they're actually listening to the videos, because you can listen, but you may not hear. And they have to listen and hear and understand these videos. We don't go through these lists and tell you what we like and we don't like for no reason. We're hoping, not because of the names, but we're hoping you pick up the strategies that we each use and find one that works for you. The names have nothing to do with it, really.
They have to be receptive. Look, if you're not receptive to get the information, and if you want to be combative, okay, you win. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, if you want to be combative, you win.
Yep.
But that's not what this is about. It's like, it's basically, look, we're mountain climbers. You don't have to worry about, just come with us. We're climbing a mountain. This is what we do. You don't have to critique us. You don't have to tell us what we're doing right or wrong. Here, we're just, take it for what it's worth. This is it. This is how each of us look at it. And that's all. And, you have to be receptive for that, because, I mean, look, and the point is one guy can come into this business in the next 6 months and he's going to be a millionaire but the guy that's been here for 5 years ain't making 50 grand a year. So how is that possible? Okay? So, one guy is very receptive and wants to learn and takes information like a sponge, and one guy is just like playing tennis, and he's just, boom, no matter what you say, boom, I can volley that right back, boom, but there's no receptive. It's just, boom, it's just, hey, you ain't going to get nothing out of that. It doesn't work. Have a good time, but you know what? You're wasting your time, and at the end of the day, you're wasting ours too.
Yeah.
Not nice sometimes, but it is the truth.
Hey, let's talk about trending topics for a second. I was swimming yesterday, and I saw one of my friends here on the island that is a programmer, and he was talking about, hey, Mike, do you know if somebody does this in WordPress environment? And he named something that was sort of high technology. I'm like, wow, nobody's doing any of that. And he said, well, I would like to develop a plugin that does that. And it got me thinking, there's a whole area that I think is going to be burgeoning, just like we look at, healthcare or other areas that are moving rapidly and evolving. That would be a great area to invest in for domain names. Not his particular topic, but just in that area that I never would have realized unless I would have had that conversation with him, which got me thinking that I should be, a lot of people have talked about looking at magazines and reading the latest periodicals, the tech journals, things like that. Mm-hmm. But also I think there's a lot that can be gained by going to meetups on various topics, programming, WordPress, whatever. Adam, you had some other suggestions on looking for trending topics that might benefit new investors or investors.
Yeah. One of the things I do, and it's similar to what other investors do, that's how Frank and all the other guys get all their domains before we even know it's a fad, is I follow a bunch of different websites and lists, and I sign up for their mailing lists, and they all have to do with trending. Trending is the key word. So stuff, I've already got a list of products that will be trending towards the end of 2014. So, for example, 3D tattoos is very popular, and it's becoming very big, and they're pretty cool. I mean, one of them is like a guy with a door. I'm trying to show this on his chest, and he opens the door, and it looks like he's opening the door, and there's a head sticking out. Some of them look like they're engraved things, and there's all kinds of other stuff on there, but it looks very real. So I posted on my Facebook, as I do with a lot of trending stuff, what's trending, and then after I did that, a lot of people started to register domains with 3D tattoos, and there's a couple different ways to spell it, and it's very popular. If you guys look up after this some of the links on 3D tattoos, you're going to find out it's very popular. So that's one of the things. But the main thing is get yourself on those lists so you know what's coming in long before it happens. Before Miley Cyrus gets on a wrecking ball and does some twerking, you'll know twerking's a big thing. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. I'll post some of the stuff, or I'll send you some of the stuff they sent me for 2014 on my Facebook account. And you'll see that a lot. So if you don't have me on Facebook, make sure you add me, facebook.com/domainexpert. And that way at least you learn something about what's coming up and what's trending and where to sign up for these lists.
Well, very cool point, and one that I didn't even think about because I don't do a lot of that type of speculation. But, I own the service hashtags.org, which has analytics service. And, my partners and I, we look at what's trending on Twitter. If you go to the homepage of hashtags.org, you can see the latest trends live as we analyze the data. And so
that's important in industry where you register and benefit. It's very important in this industry.
Yeah. Hey, a question from Brian Parker from last week. If there's an investor trying to control internet visitor traffic by owning the top.com search keywords in a vertical market, so let's take radiation, if that was a vertical market, would you recommend that if somebody's trying to buy that vertical market, that they buy the .net and .org domains as well, or is owning the .com good enough? That's going to handle 98% of the value of anything you'd be able to sell.
Who's this for?
If he's going to buy radiation.com, should he buy radiation.net and .org also, or just leave it at the .com?
He already talked to me about this during the week. He grabbed me on Skype. My personal opinion, if you're just going to build out radiation and you're just trying to, if you're not going to build out, you're just trying to sell it, then it's not going to be any that valuable. If you're going to turn it into a big business or something like that, then you definitely want the other extensions.
Why do you want the lesser value extensions if you're going to build it into a business?
For $10-20 and you're going to build a business to something big, it's not a real big cut into your profit. But if you're just looking to flip radiation.com, then I wouldn't bother.
But what if you had to buy radiation.net for a couple thousand and radiation.org for $3,000?
He's going to have to decide if the business needs it, and at what point he's willing to spend that kind of money on that. It should be at the point where it's almost petty cash before he goes to invest money that he could use to build the business instead.
Yeah. Rick, you were shaking your head no. You wouldn't buy the .net.org.
I'm like Paige, man. Why swim upstream? I mean, if you have the .com, you're the top of the pyramid. Nothing to prove. I mean, if it's there, it's just registration fee. Sure, why not? But if there's a financial decision involved, probably not.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you're talking about a one word, like we own seniors.net, and it was nice to have it even when we had seniors.com, because one you can be really greedy on, and one you could be a little more accommodative or something like that. So if you're talking about like a future trend and you can get all three, why not have all three arrows? You know what I mean? But that's different than if you had to pay to get all three. I think it would be a different scenario.
I think I'm being a bit of a hypocrite because I just realized I bought planets.com and later I bought planets.net for like $12K. So maybe I would do it.
So
but
maybe
it's nice to have. It's nice. Sometimes the hardest thing when you have one big asset is you got to make this one big great decision to sell or not sell. So having another one that lets you, with the same inquirer, say maybe we could do a joint venture on this name to get going, or a different advertising structure, whatever. So if you're talking about owning a term and you can get both, and you're really saying this is my deal for the next 5 or 10 years, yeah, why not?
So you sold seniors.com a few years ago, right, Paige?
Yep.
And that was like a, what was that, 2, 3, 5 million somewhere? What was it?
No, $1.6 million.
$1.6 million. So you went to the buyer and you said you can have seniors.com for $1.6 million, or you can have seniors.net for $100,000 or whatever you priced it at.
Well, in that case, no, we owned them both. In that case, what we did was we knew we were going to probably sell seniors.com, so we actually were building out a little on seniors.net with the idea that we may operate that, and you don't want to get halfway through operating and then sell the name or something like that. So, I mean, but it was a different spin. It was more. It wasn't really an ISP, but it was more tech products for seniors than it was an all-encompassing portal. So it was trying to do something different. But.
So at the time, the seniors.net wasn't even for sale.
Oh, everything's for sale.
Did the buyer of seniors.com want to buy the .net with it, and you didn't sell it, or it was too high priced? Or
no, they bought it at auction, so it wasn't like they ever knew or anything like that.
Gotcha. All right. And is it typical that Mike Berkens, you might actually own the domain name in .com with .net and .org and sell the package at once, or is that more atypical that you'd sell a package? You're muted, Mike.
Atypical.
It's atypical, Adam. Mike, you agree? You're not even going to unmute. You're just going to nod. All right.
Yeah, I don't even own the .com, .net, and .org in very many strings. So very few. I mean, very few. So it'll be very atypical.
Hey, Mike Berkens, Advertisement Domains wrote, "Hey, Mike Berkens, how can you sell a not-so-great .co for $30,000 and yet the considerable better one is available for .com for less?"
Do we get to hear the name?
Was it cars?
Cars.
Smart cars. What was it? Here, let me look it up here. You don't remember?
I think it was cars or smart cars or something.
Supercars.co. Did you sell supercars.co for $30K?
Aftershow day.
You talking to me?
Yeah, Mike Berkens.
I wish.
You didn't.
No. I got to leave you, Mike Siger. Sorry.
All right, Paige Howe. Thanks, buddy.
See you guys.
In 2 weeks.
See you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right.
Supposed to get it.
Yeah, sweetheart.
Supercars.co sold for $30,000 by Berkens, for example.
Well, because he asked for it. That's why.
And cars.co is available for $100. Does that ring a bell? No. You don't remember selling it?
Not my name.
Oh, all right.
Never was my name.
Sometimes people get credit for things they don't do. I had a guy yell at me because I wouldn't sell him aliens.com, and I said, it's not my name.
In Australia owned it.
Huh. All right.
Happy to take the money, though.
Yeah, seriously, if you could only get it. Aliens.com, Adam?
Yeah.
I like that one.
They called Frank's platform, and he bought a name off me before on the platform, so he just figured I owned all the names there. So he sent me an email saying, hey, I did business with you before, and I talked to this guy, Frank, and he was very nice to me. Can you talk to me? Frank was nice to him. He just didn't like the price.
Yeah. My wife saw Aliens when she was 9 years old, and my 11-year-old daughter wants to see it now.
Hold on. Are you saying she saw them in the backyard or the movie?
Yes. She's from Port Angeles. She may have seen it in the backyard, but she definitely saw the movie. You guys remember the first time you saw Aliens?
No.
You don't?
I do.
It was freaky at the time, right?
Was.
Yeah, you...
Anytime anything comes out of somebody's stomach and runs away, it's kind of freaky, yeah.
All right. Anything else you guys want to chat about? You want to talk about Paige, since he's not here?
Well, I think he overvalued those names on that first portfolio. $250K was too much.
Well, Mike Berkens placed a price about the same order of magnitude, whether it's 100-ish or 250. You know, it's the same order of magnitude. That's the end user price, wouldn't you say? Everything's negotiable from there.
It's an end user price if you got a pipe dream and you're willing to wait. I don't think they're going to get 250 for any of those.
Aren't we all willing to wait on all of our domains?
You wait for 250, you're waiting a long time. For that,
Mike waited 5 years for 350 on malls.com.
But malls.com isn't the same as synth.com.
Well, he didn't say since.com was 250K. He said complimentary or configure.com.
Yeah, those aren't 250 names.
Yeah, they're not
complimentary is not 250 names, sorry.
I agree.
Configure.com?
Nope.
I like it.
I like that for 250.
People do configurations. You can configure a computer. You can do it all remotely. I think that there's
a lot of them do it for you now almost by themselves.
You know, look at the trends on Google Trends of malls and look at
now you like the trends now.
Technology trends.
Yeah, now you like the trends.
You can register config.computer probably for $40.
Really. Yeah, exactly.
All right, I got to go take care of that. All right, gentlemen. Enjoy your week off. Have a great time at the conference, Mike Berkens.
Oh, yeah. It should be a joy. Like Mardi Gras. Just like Mardi Gras.
Make sure
what was the topic for next week?
Currency.
Currency, really?
What'd you say, Rick?
I told Mike to wear a bulletproof vest over there with fair winds.
I'm going to bring beads for Mardi Gras. See what I can do.
All right, take some pictures, Mike. I want to see if it's as much fun as traffic is.
Take care.
See you later.
All right, see you guys. Have a great couple of weeks.
Bye-bye. Out of here. Bye-bye.